Before we get started, just if somebody could, or a few of you, drop a note in the chat box to make sure that you can hear me, see us, and see the presentation on the screen, that would be great. I want to make sure everybody can hear and see us. Okay, cool. You can. Thanks. All right. So welcome to the Grow Mentorship series, the value and importance of homeownership, which is a perfect topic for June's National Homeownership Month. I'm your host, Joanne Theriault-Fazio, SVP of Mortgage Lending and National Sales Director at Proper Rate, and your Grow Mentorship Director. And before we get started with our guests, we have a couple of quick slides I wanted to go over. So Natalie, if you could turn it over to some of those statistics, these are the wonderful people that will be joining me. Some interesting stats for June for National Homeownership Month, but came across this actually on realtor.com and wanted to share it with everybody because it is going to be relevant to what we are speaking to today. Lower income families are 22% more likely to be denied a home loan, and only 3 in 10 veterans know they can qualify to buy a home without a down payment. Almost 80% of first-time home buyers qualify for down payment assistance, but only 13% take advantage. And to me, I think that number was the most staggering one that I heard, given how many new down payment assistance programs we've just rolled out in the last year or so. And we're going to talk about some of those today. And on the next slide, we have a couple more stats that I wanted to share. The gap between Black and white home ownership is worse today than it actually was in 1968 when the Fair Housing Act was passed. 1 in 4 Hispanic home buyers complete the buying process entirely in Spanish. And at GRC, we do have a digital mortgage that you can complete in Spanish, which we're really proud of. And we also have the ability to share marketing assets in Spanish as well. And then the LGBTQ plus are 25% less likely to own a home compared to all Americans. Just some really interesting stats that some really surprised me. We're going to talk about, again, how we combat some of this and how we help more homeowners while we talk about a few different things and products that we have rolled out. But first, before we do get to our special guest speakers, I wanted to introduce my super surprise special guest, Casey Marty. We have a bunch of amazing industry leaders on this call today, but I'm super happy that Casey could join us. He is the EVP of Guarantee Rate Companies. He's been with GRC for over 20 years, which is really something unheard of in our industry. And so I'm going to pass it over to him to talk a little bit about the evolution of the business and the companies.
Yeah, no, thank you. 20 years and 5 months and 18 days, to be exact. So it has been employee number, I think 150 back in time, and talk about seeing the growth of what we've went through. And everyone probably on this call of the changes, whether it's 2008, 2009, 2014, and then during the COVID years. But, everything from the employees from 5,000 to 15,000 back to 5,000. And one area that I think we've always done that we really specialize and take pride in is really advocating for the consumer. And I think that's been the area that you see if you look at everything from our core values to our mission statement, and how we want to operate and how we want to make sure we're leading the market, whether that's from products such as the leaders you have on the phone, and we'll speak today, and the importance for the homeowners to understand what that means to get what we try to do and make it not just fair lending is not a thing. It's something that we live by and we believe in, that every single consumer and how they get a mortgage from us or ultimately any type of financial service, that they feel as if they're getting a transparent, in terms of process, the people who work here and everything that I've seen throughout the history of time, that, these 20 years, that's been our core kind of critical mission. And I think what you see is that the brand of what Rate has done, what we stand for, you have an arrow going down, means that we are always trying to make sure we are ahead of the curve, making sure that the consumers are, especially what I operate in terms of pricing and thinking about what our market share is and what the enterprise value is. We are always striving towards that. And I think when you talk to anyone here, hopefully when you get off this call, we like to innovate, right? And we're constantly trying to innovate. And hopefully what you hear today is that whatever we're innovating, whether that's into mortgages, whether that's into wellness, whether that's into insurance, one way or another, it's something for the consumer that we see the profile and hopefully everything that you hear today, you walk away with a little bit more of importance of why that homeowner is so special, and why we feel really blessed that we're able to provide what we do every day. I think what I'd leave on, because I think I have a 5-minute timer, is that everybody on this call, thank you for taking the time. We try to make sure what we put forward is of value, and what we're speaking to means something. But at the same time, feedback is great. It's something we live off. It's something I strive to be, really, is continuous improvement. And I think with these calls and what we're trying to put out there is that improvement for not just what you pick up on this call, but hopefully some type of improvement in terms of what your fulfillment may be or in your life, or ultimately how that helps you generate more business and happiness. But I appreciate everyone kind of taking the time, and I really, I think my retirement's still 20 more years, but due to my kids being, only 4 years old, and quite honestly, college will be probably way out of whatever the cost should be at that point. So, we're going to be around, and quite honestly, that's what we strive to be. So I'll leave it at that.
Well, we're definitely going to have a special celebration for you when you hit your 40 years at GRC, for sure. But thank you for joining us today and taking the time, and really appreciate you being here. We're going to start talking about products, and I wanted to share something else with everybody on this next slide that I did see online. This is probably not news to anybody who pays attention to where interest rates were and where they have gone, or how the cost of home ownership has gone up. So just wanted to share some math with everybody, because I think that speaks to why the next speaker we have is so important to our companies, the growth of home ownership, and just so many things that we are able to do and offer. And Kate Amore is the SVP of Head of Enterprise Products for all GRCs. She and her team are tasked with creating more products that will reach more people. In a time when we have seen rates go up and down, inventory at a low, and banks and mortgage companies are closing and merging, Kate and her team have just really elevated their game. They have been creating more products with more diversity to them than we can even actually probably count. And from down payment assistance to bank statement programs to our super low interest rate jumbo rate product, they have us and our referral partners covered on, I think, probably everything at this point. It's really been great to see. So I'm going to turn it over to her so she can talk about product diversity.
Super stoked to be here, and thank you for that fantastic introduction. I just really appreciate that, Joanne, and I am thrilled to be talking to this amazing group of people about all of the things that we're super passionate about. So let's move on to that first slide, and let's just talk about it. Product diversity. What is it, and why should you care? So we always talk about diversity in hiring, diversity in people, and diversity in all these other places and spaces. But for most of us, we don't think about diversity in the customers we're serving and the type of products that we're doing. And so how many people here have been told to specialize, specialize, specialize? Specialize in your marketing, specialize in your message, specialize, be known for something, be known for this thing, be an expert here in this area. I know I have. Be known for something, have your elevator pitch. So we're all told to do this, but what happens when the very thing that has made us successful becomes the thing that holds us back from growing to that next level, from expanding, doubling, tripling our business? right? That very well-tread path of selling the same product, always doing the same thing, ends up being the very thing that limits our ability to hit that next chairman's club, to become the president's club, to sell Sunset. Because if we're only selling Sunset, we're only selling agency loans, if we're not serving different customers, we're not making as much money as we can, right? We're not making as much money as we can. So product diversity is the idea that we're going to take and learn a new product. And we should do this because when we take and learn a new product, it is one, going to allow us to double or triple our business because we're saying yes to more customers. And then two, it's going to protect us because of the cyclical nature of mortgage. Every couple of years, a product comes in and out of style. Every couple of years, we got a problem that rolls in or out because of regulatory change, a compliance change, new people in office, economic conditions happen, products are in, products are out. And when you only are working with one product, that doesn't help you. So learning a new product protects you. It's going to be the reason that you make more money, serve more customers. It's going to create more security for you, and it's definitely going to help out. So let's look at some statistics on the next slide to talk about why that is the case. So if we look here at this pie chart of product awesomeness, you can see here that there's a lot of different products. And yes, agency is maybe 57% of the amount there, and that is a big number, and it's a good thing to have, and you're a good tool to have, okay? But how much are we missing if we're not looking at refinances, which are up 23% or 28%? How much are we missing if we're not thinking about all the different ways that that's going to increase? What are we missing if we're not doing government loans, which are a huge percentage? What are we missing if we're not doing things like reverse or non-QM? So just remember, all these different products and programs are a gateway to empower you to grow, to make more money, and to be more successful. And it's good for business. It's good for our communities. We're able to serve more people. We are now supporting the very diversity measures we care about. So embrace product diversity. And I have 3 things I'm going to talk about. And then I know we got an awesome special guest that's going to talk about another cool product that I love right after me. So let's talk about the first 3 that I've got. So let's move on to the next slide. My 3 picks, if you're going to take away anything from this conversation today, is to look at non-QM, investment properties, and government opportunities. And I'm going to tell you guys, you do not need to learn all of these. And of course, reverse later. I just want to be clear. I think what Ryan's going to talk about is awesome. All great opportunities. But keep in mind, everyone, you don't need to learn all of these. You just need to pick one. Just pick one and say, I'm going to focus on it this month. I'm going to become an expert in being able to say yes to this opportunity, and it's going to allow me to be more successful. So why non-QM? Well, non-QM is anywhere from 6 to 7% of our total product mix today. Over 40 billion of it was done last year, and it is one of the top growing products available today. And if you don't know, self-employed borrowers are the solution that non-QM offers for. So these deals that you're turning down or aren't qualifying due to DTI purposes, you can get all that done in non-QM. You want to do a pledged asset loan where a person just has assets and they're not having to have a job? You can do that in non-QM. You want to do common sense lending like the type that they do on an exception at a bank? You can do that in non-QM today. You can say yes. Non-QM isn't something to be scared of. It's something to lean into and to explore because it's just going to make you more money. And who doesn't like money? Now, the other thing to think about with non-QM is understanding. When you look at any of these product offerings, especially non-QM, investment properties are true, and also true of other types of products and programs. You want to remember that we have a lot of different opportunities for referral partners, whether it's tax preparers, CPAs, financial planners, estate attorneys, or hard money lenders. These are all future opportunities for you to get more business coming in from a diverse range of referral partners, which when you have more referral partners, you make more money and you're more successful. So these are just ways to help you be prosperous and multiply what you've got coming in. The other option that I really dig is investment properties. So investment properties, 26% of all purchase transactions last year were investment properties. And the majority of those investment properties are not what you see in the news, which are the big bad, like, hedge funds buying up all the properties. It's actually little mom and pop businesses for everyday Main Street Americans who are buying and owning investment properties. And so when we don't serve them, or we don't know what's best for that type of business to business relationship, we lose like this whole opportunity to make a bunch of money. And the beautiful part of investment properties, it's the gift that keeps on giving. Is you're not going to just do one loan to that person every 7 years. You're not going to have to worry about refinancing them all the time either. You're going to get to do multiple loans because look how many properties they own. They own multiple properties. So make sure you're taking advantage of investment properties. And again, where do you go get property investors? Where do you find people to talk to? You're going to go, again, tax preparers, CPAs, financial planners, tax attorneys, and hard money lenders, because they're going to be looking for a takeout for that loan. And by the way, we have some of the best investment property products out there on the market today, guys. Debt service coverage ratio programs, all kinds, our new Max Invest product. We're absolutely crushing it. So make sure you're taking advantage of this. And then last but not least, I feel like this is an underrated product that people do not think about: government products, FHA, VA, USDA, but in particular, FHA and VA. And I would have to say FHA is one of the most underutilized products I see out there, and it's got the best interest rate. And people say to me, Kate, I don't know about that FHA. It's going to be terrifying. But I tell you, when we have the right sales force, the right technology, which Guaranteed Rate has, and the right underwriting staff, FHA can be an absolute moneymaker for you. And it's got the better rate, guys. Their rates are like a half a point lower on FHA loans. So be smart here and do yourself a favor and win in those pricing conversations by putting your best foot forward and taking the time to talk to your realtor partners. Or if you're a realtor looking at an FHA loan, make sure you're working with the right referral partner such as us, who is going to do that right and really know how to properly and effectively service that. Because when we put our best foot forward with products and programs, what we're really saying yes to is customers, people, and everybody having access to that American dream. And so learning new products, guys, start with one of these 3, and I promise you it is absolutely going to help you double or triple your business. Thank you so much for the opportunity to talk about products and programs, Joanne.
Well, thank you for being here with us. And I also wanted to mention that Kate actually just got some big award through Inman. I'm sure everybody is familiar with that publication. It's kind of a big deal when you get to be awarded something from a publication like that. So I just want to say congratulations on that. All great information, all to help, foster growth with our referral partners. And we are going to kind of explain how this all will tie in for referral partners at the end, which will be great. And just really wanted to mention also with the FHA thing, because it has come up a lot. Just FHA is a great program in particular. And like Kate mentioned, it's a lower interest rate. And we as loan originators have a fiduciary responsibility to put our client in the best product. And sometimes it's just a matter of us making a phone call and explaining that to the listing agent on, their payment and their rate and their costs are all going to be significantly lower to go this route. So just making sure that you are taking the time to invest in your education. You are then, as a loan originator, you are then turning around and helping educate others within our industry. It's really super important to be doing that. And so with that, we are actually going to go on to the next great product. We have Ryan Ogata here. He heads up our reverse mortgage division. Some of you may never even heard of what a reverse mortgage is. Most of you have probably never done one. If you have done one in your career, I've done a handful. Go ahead and drop a little note to us in the chat. Love to know who's been involved in one. But Ryan and his team are really reaching a set of homeowners with the reverse product that most lenders are too afraid to even tackle. And not only are they helping these individuals, they are doing it in the most streamlined way. Such an efficient department, so many amazing products that they've brought to the market. And so I am going to go ahead and turn it over to him to talk reverse.
Thank you so much. It's always tough to follow Kate. She's got so much amazing energy and her accomplishments are kind of legendary. So, I'm more of an analytical guy, so I'm going to bore you to death with a whole bunch of charts. I really want to go over two things. First, what I'm going to call the business case for reverse. Then we're going to dive into a very special application that is growing very, very sort of rapidly right now, and that's a reverse for purchase. So if we could, yeah, go to the next slide, please. Okay, I just want to kind of set the foundation for why I think, reverse is such an amazing opportunity that everybody who's the loan originator should be looking at right now. So what I've got here is, the last, 40 years of interest rates and the downward trend. Right. So, look at that line, look at the average. You can kind of see what interest rates have done over the last 40 years. I myself got into the business in 2002. And I remember, there were borrowers that I did a purchase transaction for. And then a couple of years later, I was able to refinance that loan. Maybe I refinanced it twice. Maybe then they bought another property and then I refinanced that loan again. I was able to do that, right? Because interest rates were on this downward trend. And even though sort of time had gone on, I was always able to sort of better their terms with a rate and term refinance, right? So that, I think, that resonates with a lot of people who have been in the industry a long time and experienced this, and then what happened? Interest rates sort of bottomed out at the end of 2021. So if we go to the next slide. Right. And then all of a sudden, we've got this sort of rapid increase that happened. Right. This is ultimately the end of the cycle. And why, it's not difficult to understand why you see like big banks, B of A, Wells Fargo, a lot of these companies basically gutted their entire mortgage division and, realized that, maybe some of the best days in the industry are behind us because of this trend that we had sort of, experienced, the fortunes, all the money that was made up until that point, and all of a sudden we're in a rising interest rate environment and everything changes. So next slide, please. So what I'm going to kind of talk about now, I took that last sort of, that last little circle there and I expanded it out. And I'm going to talk about what I call a defined market, right? So I've got lines here and it really represents, the 5% note rate, the 6% note rate. And why these are relevant, right? I like to think about the forward mortgage space. It's very similar to farming. And what I mean by that is you have a defined harvest cycle or a defined harvest like crop or potential, right? So when rates are, let's just say at 6%, you have an opportunity to refinance every single loan that was done at maybe 6.5% and higher, right? If rates drop to 5%, right? It's every single loan that may have been done at 5.5% and higher, right? But there is effectively a defined market opportunity that is all of the loans that exist at higher interest rates than this amount, right? So let's take a look at these numbers a little bit more. Next slide. This is the data for guaranteed rate and the note bands that we funded as a company for the years 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023. And you can see by band, how many loans we did at 3% and below, how many loans we did between 3 and 3.5%. 3.625, 4%, right? And just look at the massive, harvest. I'm going to call it a harvest, right? That took place, 2020, 2021, right? And even part of 2022. And you see all the unit counts of loans that were funded, right? Then let's look at sort of the bottom half of this graph and look at, 5.625% higher, the stuff that's highlighted in yellow, right? Look at it. Obviously, a lot less transaction volume that was done, right, during that time frame, right? As interest rates are going up, there's less refinance opportunity. It's really more of a purchase market. Yeah, there's some refinance, for people pulling cash out, but the rate and term sort of abundance that we enjoyed is pretty much over, right? So it's a much smaller kind of like harvest opportunity that we have. Next slide, please. Looking at this a little bit deeper, right? In 2020, we funded 176,000 units. 2021, 182,000 units. 2022, 81, 2023, 57,000, right? And then if we look at kind of those note lines that I talked about, right? 5%, 6%. What does that harvest opportunity look like if rates do in fact come down? At 5.5% and higher, there's only 75,000 loans that we funded. At 6.5% and higher, it's 35,000 loans, right? That is not a lot of volume. And that's why I think, the forward market is pretty much forever changed as a result of, kind of what happened 2020, 2021. Next slide, please. The other side to this equation, it's something that you're reading about a lot. And that is that rates for a lot of people are too good to give up. Some of you on this call know me personally. I got married about a year ago, right? We just celebrated our 1-year wedding anniversary. And I live in a downtown condo in San Francisco. My wife wants out of this place, but it's this sort of constant battle because we have a great rate. I think we're obviously below 3%. We refinanced it at the best time. But for us to sell this property and buy another home, we're facing, a much more expensive cost of borrowing. Right. So even in the purchase market, the supply side of available housing inventory is actually going to be very contracted and held back because a lot of people who might even want to move are sitting on rates that are too good to give up. Right. So think about how kind of just the dynamic of what we experienced, all the abundance that we had, and how that's going to play out long term into the housing market. We should be looking at sort of other opportunities to ultimately expand our business. Next slide, please. So let's talk about reverse and what I call the undefined market, right? There is an estimated $13 trillion in home equity that's held by homeowners 62 and over. It's 13 trillion, right? That's like half of our country's GDP. It is a massive number. Also, baby boomers, right? 76 million of them, and there's an 80% home ownership rate amongst this demographic, right? Reverse loans, think seniors, the product becomes eligible for borrowers 62 and older. That is, sort of the market opportunity. It's a huge chunk of the US population with one of the highest home ownership rates of any segment. The last number here is the most important, $200,000. That represents the median retirement savings account balance for a baby boomer. When you understand reverse mortgages, you'll understand that it's a retirement tool. It's a lifestyle tool. You can either refinance a forward mortgage into a reverse and not have to make payments anymore. It's a great opportunity to annuitize some of the home equity that's in your home, right? This is what this product was designed for. It's to basically solve for this retirement sort of epidemic crisis that we have sort of on our hands. The last number that I want to kind of draw your attention to is this 2% number. Right? That is the market penetration of reverse into eligible US households. Very, very small. So there is a massive opportunity over here. However, there's also sort of a very small portion of the mortgage sales force that is actually going out and attacking it. The industry doesn't have a product void. It has a distribution problem because not enough originators are taking the opportunity seriously. So again, I think there's a massive opportunity in reverse that everybody as an originator should be taking a look at in order to kind of diversify their business a little bit. Next slide. So let's talk about the reverse for purchase, because that is, quite possibly one of the biggest growing segments. It's one of the best, sort of applications for a reverse mortgage, and it's very relevant right now. And what makes this product a good fit for retirees? Reverse for purchase provides buyers the opportunity to purchase a new home and get a reverse mortgage at the same time. And the typical application is for a buyer looking to downsize, right? So maybe you've got a situation where they're living, they're living in a 4-bedroom home, empty nesters. The kids have all moved out and that house is too big. Maybe they want to move to be closer to family for whatever reason, right? They need to facilitate an exchange. They got to get rid of the big house, facilitate a downsize into something that a property that's appropriate for them to age in place. The benefits of this product: increase savings from sales proceeds. And we're going to talk about these a little bit later. DTI is not a factor when qualifying for reverse. All of the calculations are based on your age and the property value. And for retirees with limited income, right, DTI is not a factor. Optional monthly mortgage payments. There's a big misconception that reverse, you cannot make mortgage payments. They are entirely optional. Borrowers make them all the time. It's a great product because it helps you manage your cash flows. And the last thing is that repayment on the loan isn't really due until the loan is ultimately sold. So next slide, let's dive into some of this stuff a little bit more. Next slide. Great. So downsize with more liquidity. With a reverse for purchase, the buyer combines the proceeds of the sale of their departure home or other assets with a reverse mortgage to fund the purchase of a new home. This allows them to keep more of their sale proceeds liquid rather than applying all cash towards the purchase. So you sell your big home, right? Chances are you got to pay capital gains. Yeah, there's the exclusion, but there's probably going to be some amount that you have to pay taxes on, right? You've got to pay agent commissions, all that stuff. The liquidity that's left over, right? If you want to downsize, oftentimes for a retiree, they're going to have to pay all cash. Well, this product allows them to finance that new purchase without, an income requirement, a DTI calculation. So they get to keep more of their net proceeds from the sale of their home liquid in their pocket to help fund their other lifestyle expenses. It's a great product for that purpose. Next slide. Qualifying income and cash flow. So for qualified borrowers who aren't necessarily earning a regular income, or Reverse for Purchase offers a viable way to purchase a new home. The loan amount is a function of down payment and age, not income. The borrowers also find the optionality of making monthly mortgage payments to be advantageous to their financial situation. So it's a great, great cash flow tool. You get to net more from the sale of your home, put less down, and monthly mortgage payments are optional. Let's take a look at a transaction example just so we can kind of see how this works. Next slide. Okay, so Margaret, we're just going to kind of put a face to all this stuff. Margaret is 85 years old with cash assets of about 750,000. She sold her home. She added that with her savings. She's got 750 in the bank, and she wants to purchase a $500,000 home to be closer to family. Because she's retired, retirees do have income, Social Security, stuff like that. She does have limited income. She's able to qualify for a $150,000 forward mortgage, right? She could do that. But at age 85, she can borrow $255,000 or 51 LTV with a reverse mortgage and have optional monthly payments. So next slide. These are Margaret's different options. The traditional purchase is the first column. Down payment, $350,000. Loan amount, $150,000, right? That's $350 plus $150. That's how we get to $500 for the purchase price. Her remaining savings is going to be $400,000 because she had to put $350 down. She has a mortgage payment of $1,088 a month, taxes and insurance, $760. And then so her total PITI is $1,848. Yeah, Margaret could do this deal if she wanted to. Another option would be column 2, an all cash purchase. So let's just say Margaret is worried about cash flow and she doesn't want to have that mortgage payment. So instead, she's going to put $500,000 down, the entire amount. All right, that's the down payment to pay all cash, but that depletes her liquidity and she only has $250,000 left in the bank. She does have the benefit of not having a mortgage payment, but she still has to cover taxes and insurance of $760. So although she's avoiding that monthly mortgage payment, her liquidity is, basically, not that much. I would probably argue that $250,000 is not enough to have of the nest egg. And the last option is the reverse for purchase, right? She's only going to put down $245,000. She's going to get the biggest loan that she qualifies for, $255,000. So her remaining savings is going to be $505. She has the most liquidity in this scenario. And on top of that, because it's reverse, the mortgage payment is optional. So that doesn't apply. The only thing Margaret has to pay for is the $760 of taxes and insurance. So this reverse option, right, leaves Margaret with the most liquidity and puts her in the best cash flow scenario. That's why this product is so relevant right now. Huge market opportunity. A lot of this baby boomer demographic is looking to facilitate a downsize right now. This is the product to help them do that. And that's all I got.
That's all. Just all of that awesome information. I did like that there were a handful of people in the chat that did say they have done a reverse. So
That's
it's
great.
probably, obviously some people within the company that are promoting the product. Somebody did mention it was because somebody didn't qualify for a forward mortgage. So it's a great alternative. If you know what you're doing, you have this product available. I love that you said that the industry has a distribution problem. We need to be going out there talking about the product and the availability, and that will lead into some of the things that Sarah is obviously going to be talking about. But realtors really need a loan originator who's willing to put in the work, to do the research, to know the programs, to make sure that they're not just handing over a regular old 30-year fixed and this is all we can do. We really need
the
to
other part to
diversify.
this is so many people spend, marketing effort on like first-time home buyers, right? That's a very common, sort of real estate lender type of presentation. This is a larger market opportunity, I would sort of make the business case for, and it's very rare that a lender and a real estate agent do a sort of, downsize seminar. So again, we've got all the marketing materials. There is a huge opportunity out there. I would encourage everybody to learn about the product and start selling it, because it's a great product, and we're sort of just at the beginning of what I think is going to be just a huge adoption of reverse. And it's going to become a much larger part of the overall product mix than it has been historically.
Mm-hmm. And this is the opportunity for everyone to be way ahead of the curve when
way ahead, early
that
adopter
happens. They will
Early
know
adopter.
all the things that they need to know by then. So thank you so much, Ryan. That was super, super great information. Next up, I have Sarah McMillan, SVP of Marketing. And honestly, I kind of feel like Sarah doesn't even need an intro at this point. I've had her on so many girl calls in the past, and she's always willing to give her time and her ideas. And she's really the perfect person to help me close it out with her amazing energy. And her ideas and her passion for SEO are pretty much unmatched when it comes to helping our loan originators and referral partners market to their communities and prospect new clients. So, Sarah, I am going to have you take it away.
Thanks, Joanne. What an amazing intro. Thanks, everyone else, for joining us today. I'm super excited. I always love talking about ways for you to get out there, ways for people to see you and to get to know you. And really, truly, how are you going to build your empire, right? You got to get out there. People need to remember your face and your name. And on the first slide, we're going to talk about being everywhere all the time. We all know that age-old saying, 8 to 10 times somebody sees your face or name and they start to remember it, right? It's true though. It really, really does make an impact on our trust, on our memories, right? I know I live here in Chicago and I've never slipped and fallen here in Chicago, but if I do, I'm literally calling Lerner and Rowe at 222-2222. I don't know why. I don't know anyone that's ever used this company, but the reality of it is I see their digital ads. I see their billboards. I see ads on the TV. I'm seeing them everywhere. And that has made such an impression in my mind that I trust them. The same thing happens with you, right? The more people see your face, the more people see what products you offer, how you can help them, they're going to want to come to you. So how do you do that? How do you get out there? Just like Joanne mentioned, the internet is the way to do it. And SEO is a passion of mine. I love search engine optimization. I think there's so much value, right? When people can constantly see you and constantly see your ads, constantly see your website and be in front of them. Digital campaigns is a way to do that, okay? I know some of you on this call may have heard me say this before, but if you haven't, listen up, okay? I literally love shoes. I'm obsessed with shopping for shoes. It's my favorite thing to do. When I'm not working, I go on DSW, I toss some shoes into my cart, but something happens and I can't actually purchase those shoes. I got to go take the dog out. It's dinner time. I got to do something for work, right? I don't purchase those shoes. What happens next time I go to literally any website on the entire internet? The shoes are stalking me, right? We all have had an experience like that. Maybe it wasn't shoes for you, maybe it is, but the reality of that is you've experienced it, and those are digital campaigns. That's getting out there and using tools like we have here in our companies, like Vocalized, AdWorks, ways for you to get in front of them, but there is lots of tools out there that do this for you guys, right? You are able to target people where they're searching, okay? Almost all of these tools are in the Meta network, which is Facebook, right? Which is Instagram, getting you in front of people when they're searching on their social channels. You've got Google network, right? This is going to be everything. Pretty much everything's connected to the Google network, right? So you want to be out there on the Weather Channel, on ESPN, on Yahoo Finance. All of those are connected to this network, right? Digital campaigns are such an amazing way to target groups, right? Just like we were talking about with Kate and Ryan, specific groups are the way to target your messaging, you guys, right? Don't just keep saying, hi, I'm here every time, right? We want to target our messaging to people, to groups, to first-time homebuyers, to, people that are going to qualify for these reverse mortgages, to reno, to refi, right? Whatever those opportunities are, you want to target those messaging. Digital campaigns allows you to do that, right? Allows you to really put yourself constantly in front of them, seeing your ads over and over again, making those digital impressions. The cool thing about this, guys, is you are going where they're searching. I'm going to tell you guys, when I'm not working, know a little bit about me. I love Bravo. I'm a Bravo girl. I'm constantly on entertainment sites, reading some of these blogs. I see ads from my loan officers that I work with because I talked to them earlier today, or they're running a campaign around somebody that's maybe in my age group or maybe in my area, right? You can really, really target your messaging through digital campaigns. Lots of ways to do that. You can target your entire database, right? Continue to get your name out there in front of your database over and over again. You can target geo. I love geo targeting, okay? If you aren't using geo targeting, do it. This is getting new people into your database that are not already in there, right? You're going to say, I want to target everyone within within 1 mile of 60614, right? That's here in Chicago. These are new people. These are people that haven't seen my face, that don't know me, that aren't in my database, and they're going to constantly get that breadcrumb, that reminder, right? I always say, think of breadcrumbs, leaving little splashes of breadcrumbs wherever you go. So somebody says, hey, oh, there's Sarah again. Oh, wait, I see Sarah again here, right? It's leaving those breadcrumbs and those impressions behind for them. So digital campaigns are such a way to do that, constantly staying in front of your clients. And here's another really cool thing, you guys. Digital campaigns you can't opt out of. It's not like an email where you can say, hey, I'm going to opt out, unsubscribe, don't call me anymore, right? Digital campaigns, you can't do that, right? These cookies are following us around the internet. They affect us every single day. You are going to be having your ads served in front of your clients, in front of your partners, really, truly to get your name out there. So digital campaigns, number one way to get yourself out there. Also want to talk about other ways, right? Postcards and flyers. Okay, we sometimes think these are old school ways of marketing. Well, guess what? Grassroots marketing is still effective today. I promise you that, okay? Grassroots marketing, getting out there, shaking hands, having events, which we're going to talk about here in a minute, right? But putting yourself in front of people by sending postcards. It's that constant way of saying, I'm still here. Remember me. I'm here to help if you need something, right? Flyers. You're at an open house. You're at an event, right? Give people something tangible to walk away with. We actually know that 80% of consumers engage with an out-of-home ad. So all of these things that you're seeing here is not something inside of their house, right? So they're out-of-home ads. All of these things, 80% of consumers say they interact with an ad in the past 60 days before their purchase. Okay. So they're looking at it. They're out there. They're going online and they're researching. They want to have that engagement first and foremost, because that's how they're going to learn about you. That's how they're going to get to know, are you trustworthy, right? Are you someone that other people love engagements with? The other thing I want to share with you guys about flyers, which I think is really, really cool. 91% of all survey respondents say they will scan a QR code if they see it, right? We got so used to it with COVID. We went to a restaurant, you go to a bar, right? Everything has a QR code on it. I put a flyer on here, right? It is an open house flyer, but there's a QR code option. Put your QR code in there, right? To your website. Put it to your digital mortgage. Put it to somewhere that gives them a cookie that leaves your impressions behind. People naturally scan QR codes. We're just doing it now. 91% of people are going to scan that code. That puts you in front of them. That leaves that cookie on their computer to say, hey, next time you run a digital campaign, you're going to be in front of them. You have to make all of those connections with your breadcrumbs. So one way to be there is going to always be everywhere, all of the time, but you're also going to do that by dominating your market. So on the next slide, I want to talk about some ways that you can, right? How do you get out there? How do you dominate your market? Again, it's seeing your face, it's seeing your name, it's being there over and over and over again. I hear a lot of people that say to me like, billboards are a thing of the past. No, they're not. I literally buy things from billboards all the time, okay? And people do it, right? Again, it adds that impression. It adds that constant seeing someone. Place it in a good placement, right? Find a good intersection in your town, right? Find a good place to put up a banner ad, right? A lot of times by like a high school, right? Somebody's constantly dropping off their kids. They're constantly seeing it over and over again. Bus stops. Bus stop ads, people drive by bus stop ads all the time. It's another memory. It's another breadcrumb you're leaving behind. It's these constant impressions. I always like to tell people like, own your market. Be the person, and every single person in my town says, oh, I know Joanne. Oh yeah, I saw her on that billboard. That bus stop I just drove by. There she is again, right? Oh, I'm in my shopping cart in the Jewel. There she is on my shopping cart. It's that constant impression of being in front of someone. We gain trust for them, right? Charging stations. If you don't have a charging station, I legit recommend this, right? It's an amazing way to get in your community, local bars, local restaurants, right? Throw a charging station in there. I know I grew up in a town up north here in Libertyville, and we had like a little, like, it's called the Liberty. It's like our local town center place that we'd all go to, and everyone would gather there, right? if you're hanging out there for periods of time, this is a great opportunity for someone to say, oh, my phone's out of juice. What do I do? I'm going to go run over to the charging station that Sarah put up. I'm going to charge my phone. I'm going to remember that Sarah gave me that charge, right? It's one more thing that puts that memory of you in front of them. Love, love, love any opportunities to put your face on something, right? So charging stations do that for us. Obviously giving you that recognition. Talk about some other things: arena, stadium ads, high school banners, right? Again, impressions that you're making in your community. Every single person in that town knows your name. I got a lot of people that'll come to me and say, Sarah, I want to be number one in Illinois. And I'm like, awesome. Are you number one in your town? Well, no, not yet. Let's be number one town. Let's be number one in your town first, right? Because once you're number one in your town, then the town next to you gets to know you. And now the whole county knows you, right? And now a couple counties know you, and then the entire state knows you, right? It's building that from the inside out, right? Dominate your market. Going into those arenas, those stadiums, those high schools, those baseball clubs, those soccer gathering places, right? I can't think of what they're called. I'm losing my mind here, but those big bubble indoor soccer arenas. Aha, that's what it is, right? Put your name in there. Put your signs up. People are going to remember you because of this. These are all things that I know you all know, but it's that reminder to say, hey, I should put one more ad out there. I should put my face in one more location, right? But let's talk about some things that maybe will be little less expensive, right? Maybe you're like, I don't got a ton of funds. I can't put up a billboard every single time, right? So let's talk about some other things. You can be local by putting dog bowls out in your local community, right? Give them to bars, give them to shops, give them to restaurants, have them set it outside. People walk their dogs and view the shops all the time. Your dog gets some water, and bam, I see somebody's name. Oh, wow, they gave my dog water. It's all the breadcrumbs, putting it all together, right? Go to your local farmers markets. I love farmers markets. It's a great way to meet the community, to talk to people. You don't always have to have a stand. You don't always have to have, something that you're giving away, promo items every time. Walk around, right? Put a t-shirt on with your company and your name. Put a QR code on the back. These are all ways for you to be the dominant person in your market. Everybody goes to you, right? And then lastly, you guys, local sponsorships. Go out and see what other people are doing, right? How are other people in your community? Do they need help, right? Are there charities that you can be part of? Are there local golf sponsorships that you can be a part of? Can you be the beverage cart sponsor, right? Is there maybe the school is having a fundraiser, right? All of these are sponsorships where most of the time I see people can get a gold sponsorship and they get their name on the banner, and they get put in the program, and they're on the website, right? Lots of more affordable ways if you get really, really local, right? Really cool ways to do that. Also, some other things, pickleball's hot right now, right? So go hit up those pickleball courts, throw out some water bottles, bring some water, just some water, and give them some little golf towels, like lots of ways to bring little tiny tchotchkes. And then the last thing I'm going to say for you guys is, if you just want to spend a little tiny bit of money, right? Go out, buy bar keys. That's what this thing here in the middle is, below that pickleball set is. A bar key is what your bartenders are going to use to open their bottles of liquor, okay? Every single time somebody opens a beer bottle, they're going to pull that out and they're going to click that off. Your logo is being shown every time they're handing somebody a beer, right? Easy, affordable thing to think of. Give them pens too. Give them pens with your information on it. Again, all things that bring that breadcrumb back to you guys. Small things make a really, really, really big difference. On the next page, we've got some amazing examples of how some of our loan officers, Joanne is one of them, gets out there and gets in that community, right? Brings people together and puts her name on it, right? Giving away baskets, going to farmers markets, giving away things that, like, I love this teacher one, right? Like, give things to the school, the communities, bring things on the first day. I've got the dog park bowl one is so great. I love that they've got the Frisbee in there. You've got the bags, you've got the dog poop bag holder, right? All of these are things that people want, that they really want to have, they keep for long periods of time. It's fun for their dog, and you're leaving that breadcrumb behind. Ways to get in front of them. All right, let's talk about, on the next slide, how to make yourself relatable. I'm going to tell you guys, we said this earlier. Kate mentioned it, right? You always think, I want to be the expert. I want to be the expert at this particular product. You guys, today you want to be a human. You want to be relatable. People want to know who you are. Social media, video messages, all deliver that for them. Okay. Leaving that breadcrumb, right? If they're going through, they're scrolling through your social media page and they see your video, they see your post. But here's the thing. Once you start to make yourself a little bit more relatable, it's not always about that non-QM message. It's not always about how much is your home worth, right? Maybe it's about your kid. Joanne's got this amazing post, right, from last year, which I think is just awesome to show because she put something in there that is about her. It's her family. It's her child. It's an awesome video. Go check it out. It's really, really fun. But here's the thing. Look at the reach on this, okay? She posted this on Facebook and she got 2,267 people to view that, right? Again, Instagram, 288, right? But here's the thing, people are engaging with it. They're knowing who she is. They're knowing who she is as a person, as a human. It makes her more relatable. We've got Jen over here on our team who does a lot of VA and educational videos. Really great way to give yourself explainer videos, make yourself that expert, but also have a little fun with it, right? I'm going to tell you, anybody on this phone, if you haven't met me, this is me in real life. I promise you. This is my personality. This is who I am. Video allows us to do that. So the more that you guys can be posting on your social media pages, the more that you can make yourself relatable, show your face in videos, talk to people. If you don't want to show your kids, that's okay too, right? But show pictures of what you're doing. Show yourself on a beach, on a roller coaster, show your dogs. But this all allows us to be a little bit more relatable. But don't ever forget, consistency is key on social media. You need to be constantly posting. We like to say 2 to 3 times a week. That is a basis, okay? 2 to 3 times a week. If you're posting, you've got a constant baseline of posts going up. This is going to get you somewhere. But what's going to get you even further is being you, being that person, right? Get out there on a new platform. If you really think, hey, I got a good following on Facebook, that's awesome because it's the #1 most used social platform out there. So you should have a Facebook profile and a presence there, right? But if you want to try something new, right? Look at Instagram. Look at TikTok. TikTok is actually the fastest growing platform. TikTok grows 13% every single month, which is wild, you guys. That's insane that they're getting 13% new users every single month. That's new audiences, right? That's new people that maybe you haven't had exposure to, that you haven't had view your pages. This is what's going to make you a human. I promise you, people want to know you. They want to know who you are. They want to know how you talk. They want to know what you're about. Social media, posting those things, post constantly, getting yourself out there, but also having those videos and making yourself more relatable. It's so important. So please, if you're uncomfortable with video, right? What I suggest that you do, and my big challenge to you is this weekend, pick up your phone, take it around with you, record 30 clips, 30 little 30-second, 1-minute clips of yourself. At the end of you recording all of that, open up your camera and delete all of them. Okay? Don't even watch them, just delete them. Because I can promise you, after this weekend, your Monday video is going to be a heck of a lot better than your one on Saturday morning, right? Because we get nervous, we get scared when we get in front of the computer or in front of the video the first couple of times. I'm telling you, I pick up a camera right now and I am not afraid of anything because I filmed so many videos, right? You got to get used to it. You've got to get used to being in front of the camera. It is the wave of the future. People need to know who you are. They want to know who you are. Video and social media is going to be the way to do that. All right, guys, I gave you guys lots of information today, all really the basics, but the reality is be yourself, get yourself out there, make friends, and we're going to do that by having events, right? This is the thing, you guys, you got to bring people together. On the next slide, let's talk about how we do that. Bring people together by having events, educational seminars. We just learned all this really great stuff from Kate, from Ryan, right? Have some reverse seminars. Teach people, educate them, bring them together, right? First-time homebuyer, HELOC, building a home. What does that look like? What do you need to know, right? These are all ways for you guys to give some educational information. You've made yourself a human. You're out there in the world. People know who you are. Now have fun with them, right? You're the best marketer. I can promise you that, right? You are the best marketer. People want to know you. They want to know who you are. So how do you do that, right? Educational seminars, health focused, right? People love health right now. It is such a big focus of our lives. 70% of all Americans are stressed out about their health, their wellness, their mental wellness, right? Let's help them with that. Let's get some yoga classes, cooking classes, nutrition based, meditation, join some walking clubs, running clubs, right? Be part of the community. I love community involvement, park cleanups, blood drives, dog adoptions, drop off, right? School coffee carts. All of these things are really going to bring you into that community, make you have fun with them, build those relationships, right? Build those relationships. All of our realtor partners, all of our partners that are out there, we want you guys to know we're here to support you. We can do this together. Let's have events together. Let's have educational seminars. Let's have parties together. Tacos and tequila, roller skating, pottery, right? 80s theme. I love an 80s theme, right? Oktoberfest. Do fun things. Bring people together and have a great time. Bring people together, making laughs. It really truly is the way to do business. People want to do business with people they like, right? Having events does that for you guys today. So lots and lots of stuff for you guys today. Fun information. I'm always happy to join this call. It's super fun. Lots and lots of ways for us to get a lot of education. But Joanne, I'm going to tip it back to you.
I told you all Sarah had some great energy and ideas, of course. I wanted to just say too, like pretty much everything she had out there, you can co-brand. So between an agent and a loan originator, you can co-brand a lot of that. You can do joint events. What's better than just your branding? It's co-branding. It costs you half the amount of money, which is great. So thank you, Sarah. I'm like just taking my own notes here. I always come up with a few more things that I want to do. Just a few things that you did mention, the charging stations. It's the thing I get the most compliments on, that we have them in offices and things like that. So just so many things go such a long way. Wanted to just say that being a loan expert isn't just about knowing how to quote a rate. And being a realtor is not just about writing a contract anymore. Everything has changed and evolved with time in this industry for as long as a lot of us have been doing it. And you really need to be an expert in a lot of different areas. You need to be an expert in a lot of different products and programs in different neighborhoods, and you need to be an expert on branding yourself and in getting involved in the community and all of the things. But let us help you with that is the key takeaway. I want to say a huge thank you to Casey Marty, Kate Amore, Ryan Ogata, and Sarah McMillan for being my panelists today. I very much appreciate you. Grow appreciates you. You're all amazing. And I know that we have a lot of great takeaways. And we are going to also get this recording up and posted. So for anybody who missed it, we'll be able to get that out to them. Or if there's anything you want to revert back to in the slides, that will all be available as well. So thank you so much for joining us, everybody, and have a great rest of your day.